just begin, to begin to pay their fair share. You know, when we talked about 28% tax rate, Ronald Reagan was 28% tax rate. You know, that wacko liberal guy, you know. The idea that that's an unreasonable amount, but I'll get into that later. Anyway.
Wow. You know why he can't actually get in that later? First off, welcome back to the program. Dana Loesch here with you. That's Joe Biden, who was speaking just a little bit earlier. You know why he can't get into that later? Because when Reagan took office, the tax rate was like 70%, a little above 70%. He lowered it to 28%. So be honest. And he could have lowered it still. That's one of the reasons why the tax cuts were so monumental. That was the BS that everybody had to put up with under Carter. So when Reagan took office, taxes were jacked so high, the country could barely withstand it. He cut taxes to that point. Democrats would raise taxes beyond that. The number that they've landed on now, that was after a fight with their moderates, like there's two left, Sinema and Manchin, just to get to that point. They wanted it a hell of a lot higher. They sit here and act like Reagan jacked taxes up to 28. No, he wanted them lower than that. And he was also fighting against Democrats in Congress. So get it right if you're going to quote it. I mean, hot damn, this man was in D.C. at this time. How in the hell am I, who wasn't even alive when that stuff was going down, how am I remembering this better than this old fart? Golly. I can't stand that. Stop it. Get it right. He lowered it drastically. That was a huge, and by the way, he also raised revenue. And you know, one of the ways that he did this, ways that Democrats won't even consider right now. He used methods that Democrats will not even consider. He lowered the top marginal tax rate, and it was 70% in 1980. Like technically I was like 2. So he lowered it. I was 2 in 1980. So I still don't really remember. But it was by the time 1988 came around, it was 28%. He had to chip away at it. And here's the thing. While he was doing this, and this is all public information, government data, in revenue from the income tax, individual income tax, as people were taxed less, revenue to the government increased. Imagine that. The same phenomena happened under Kennedy. And that's even when you adjust for inflation and wage growth. Or population growth, I should say. So that's the big difference here. Democrats aren't wanting to do any of this. Democrats are wanting to tax everything. Crypto, your Etsy everything. We're going to have the debt hitting $51 trillion in 10 years. That's what his budget plan would do. Because he doesn't want to cut government spending. And while he does not want to cut government spending, he also simultaneously doesn't want to continue tax cuts. They keep saying that it was reckless and irresponsible, the previous administration with tax cuts. I thought they could have cut taxes more. They lowered the corporate tax income rate to make it, it's crazy that the freest country in the world should have one of the most punitive tax systems in the world. It's ridiculous. But lower the corporate tax rate. We saw businesses booming. All kinds of good stuff happening. Revenue increased because people had more of their own money to do with what they saw fit, which usually means they're better stewards of it than the government is. And now he thinks that and there was some spending. There was some spending initially that was cut. There was a lot of bureaucracy that was cut. The one thing I will say is that Republicans in the previous administration did not cut spending as they should have, and that was a problem. Because now Democrats can say, "Oh my gosh, you gave all these people tax cuts, and look what it cost." No, the spending didn't decrease. That's what was the cost. The government can't look at people's revenue and be like, that's our money. That's how they justify saying tax cuts cost. That isn't your money. That's our money. You're not owed a thing. So him saying that is so incredibly disingenuous. And you have people out there going, oh, that's right. Whoa, seal clap. Jiminy Christmas. Economic illiteracy is a major problem in this country. Yeah, but that's the budget. You could not lower the tax rate doing the stuff that he wants to do, that Biden wants to do now. You couldn't do it. Because golly, and the fact that he's presenting this as I'm still going to reduce the deficit. You have a 5.2% raise for federal employees, largest since Jimmy Carter. Increasing taxes. And the tax on households is going to be what, like 100 million? So, I mean, it's crazy. Social Security tax increases. Medicare. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's, and really nothing for the border. Nothing for that. Kind of an issue, you would think. You know, you want to make sure that you are, I mean, the southern border, that's a big problem, especially if we're having all this issue with the cartels. All these taxes. And we still are struggling with jobs, revenues down. All audio soundbite 17. Janet Yellen, the fact that she says our investment in the IRS, which is a phrase I never want to hear. Listen to how she talks about the IRS here and your money.
A strategic priority for our administration this year is to work with you to effectively implement these laws. And we're seeing the early results. In just 7 months, we've seen a wave of tens of billions of dollars of investment in clean energy manufacturing across the country. And our new investment in the IRS is already paying off. Taxpayers are getting drastically improved customer service this year.
Oh, it's the customer service. The taxpayers we're stealing from, because taxation is theft, are getting good customer service. So we're treating them nicely as we stick our hands in their pockets. That's what she just said there. What a joke. Yes, they're getting good customer service. The customer service isn't the problem. The fact that they exist is. That's the issue. 87,000, the investment. What's the return on our investment? Because normally when you make an investment, you do so with the expectation of making money off said investment. I mean, we live in a realistic society. Do you work for free? Do you just out of the goodness of your heart get up at the butt crack of dawn, go into work and put in all those hours away from your family? So for free? Because you just love the people you're working for so much, you just want to do it for free. You so believe in someone else's vision that you want to do it for free. Is that the point? I mean, kudos to you if you're one of those people who can live off magic. Everybody else got to pay their bills. Everybody else has to pay to put food on the table. They got to pay to keep the lights on, to keep the house warm or cool. They have to pay for gas in their car. No, everybody else, they have to pay. It's like that skit from Dave Chappelle when they were like, now tell us why you would like to work in frozen yogurt. And he's like, well, I've always had a lifelong passion because I'm broke. I mean, this investment, when you talk about investment, you should be getting a return on that investment. What is the return that we're getting? I mean, I know one thing, Kane. I don't think I can say it. That's what we're getting. I can't tell you guys that, but that's what we're getting. That's all we're getting. That's all we're getting.
Walking a fine line there.
It's not a fine line. It's the truth. It's just uncomfortable, and you all know it. It's the truth. It's painful and uncomfortable. You know it. So, I don't know what the return. What return? Have you gotten a return on your investment, Ken? How much money have you made on investing in the IRS?
Oh, man. How much have I made?
That amazing customer service, am I right?
I'm sorry. I have no return on investment. None. It's all negative.
I mean, they act like you show up at the IRS office and they're like, hello, would you like a chilled bottle of water? Thank you. I mean, they should be rolling out the carpet for you. Right? Rolling out the carpet. You ever go to, so I have to say this. When I was younger, I was in college and a great aunt, I could tell that Nordstrom really liked her because when she would go in to do some shopping in the ladies section at the Nordstrom, they'd bring her like some cool bottled water and all this stuff. And I could tell they really liked her because she spent a lot of money there. And I'm like, and then they really rolled out the red carpet. Like she had, I didn't know this until literally I was then years old when I learned that certain department stores had what they call these concierge, like people that you can shop through. I mean, it's kind of an amazing way to make money if you think about it, but And I was just thinking about this in terms of the IRS when I heard Janet Yellen say this. I'm like, the way that she's talking for your investment, you should be showing up at the IRS office and they'd be handing you a chill bottle of water. If you needed to use the restroom, they'd ask to even clean you off after. I mean, for the investment of all the dollars you're putting in there. Would you like a glass of champagne, sir or madam? Here, sit down here in our most comfortable chair. I mean, really, that's, if you think about it, for that kind of money, that's the service that you should be getting. Now, pray tell, what kind of service are you getting? Janet Yellen acts like, well, the reason that you've been so mistreated is because you don't give enough of your money. This, in any other context, would be a scam, right? It would be a scam. But no, it's government, so it's legit. I mean, theft is theft until the federal government sanctions it. Then it's legit. Good grief. It's what it is, though. Gun running isn't gun running unless it's not legit until the federal government does it.